So Matt LaFleur just had a press conference, and he gave some interesting insights into what's going down when it comes to the roster makeup. He made a few decisions, it seems, already. And on Tuesday, the Packers have to get down to 53 guys. So they'll be dropping from 90 to 53. And so with that being the case, this next game on Saturday against the Seahawks at noon is a big game for lots of these players who are vying for a roster spot, trying to, finish off some of these position groups. And so tons of guys will be, having some of the biggest games of their lives on Saturday when it comes to making this roster. But Matt LaFleur had some insights that I want to get into real quickly. 5 or 6 different things that stood out from his press conference today. So first off, he did say that Sean Clifford is going to be the backup QB. So it seemed that way after the 2 preseason games, seeing how good Sean Clifford played, seeing his fearlessness, his ability to, really drive the offense down the field, had a solid amount of touchdown drives. Is he perfect? No, still needs to improve some of that decision making, but overall, he's been solid, and Matt LaFleur made it official today, naming Sean Clifford the backup quarterback, which means that Alex Magoo will likely land on the practice squad, and it'll be Love and Clifford on this final roster. He also said that he has a pretty good indication of who the starting safety is next to Darnell Savage. He wouldn't make it clear for certain, but Rudy Ford has been the starting safety the past few days at practice, and Matt LaFleur was asked about Rudy Ford, and he said that he's been doing a nice job, that he's trusting what he's seeing, that he's playing fast, and he's communicating well. So it sounds to me, and from Matt LaFleur and what he had to say when it comes to praising Rudy Ford, plus when you throw in the fact that Ford has been the guy the past few days at practice to start out there with Darnell Savage, it's looking like Ford is the guy. And it sounds like Matt LaFleur has made his decision. We'll find it out for sure on, week 1 when they throw out their starting safety. But he also did say it's going to be a fluid situation throughout the season. So it could depend on, who's looking good. Maybe a guy like a Jonathan Owens pushes up over Rudy Ford. But right now, to me, it's sounding like Ford is the guy. And we'll have to keep an eye on that safety battle, which has been, I'd say, one of the bigger battles in camp, which has sort of been fluctuating in time. They've put Tarvarius Moore next to Savage, who right now is dealing with a knee injury. They've put Jonathan Owens next to Savage, Anthony Johnson Jr. a little bit. So it's changed a lot, but Ford maybe has pushed himself back in there because he started off camp as the guy next to Savage. For a couple weeks, wasn't the guy, and now it seems like he is the guy again. Also, another one, Rashawn Gary won't be playing in the final preseason game. He came back this week in the team reps, which is great news. Looked pretty solid at practice, according to different reporters who are there. But that's smart. You don't want to throw him out there and risk something. So hopefully he's ready week 1, and we'll get to see him out there with this Packers defense. But the Packers do plan to play most of their starters on Saturday. They're going to be playing Jordan Love, the offense. And Matt LaFleur also mentioned the importance of these guys preparing for a noon kickoff because the game on Saturday, preseason game, is at noon. And they haven't had that yet, and so he wants his guys to basically experience that before the season starts. And he also noted that he doesn't know exactly how many reps or how many snaps or drives he's going to play these guys. He said it's going to be a gut feel. So the first 2 weeks with Jordan Love started off 2 drives in the first game. The second drive was ended with a touchdown. Last week, first 2 drives, not amazing. Third drive, score a touchdown. So I think Matt LaFleur would love to see Jordan Love in this offense end on a high note just so they go into week 1 feeling pretty confident. So I would expect a similar thing. Maybe if they go out the first drive and have an incredible drive and score a touchdown, Matt LaFleur could say, okay, let's just stop there. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen to end it off on a high note. So luckily we will get to see these guys once again playing, which I think is huge for a very inexperienced team, a very young team, a young starter in Jordan Love. And then when it comes to the punter battle right now, Matt LaFleur mentioned how both punters have done an outstanding job, and so it still sounds like that competition is going on. And Pat O'Donnell is the veteran, but Daniel Whelan seems to be, standing in his own and really fighting for a potential, to potentially be the punter here in Green Bay. So we'll have to see. And then the final thing, I'm going to read this tweet from Ryan Wood noting what Matt LaFleur said. He said, Matt LaFleur says keeping only 3 tight ends is not something that's totally off the table. Even with how much he likes to use a position, he's put offensive linemen in that inline blocking role before, and LaFleur says the offense is deep at receiver. So because Tyler Davis went down with an injury, Packers tight end, a guy who was very impactful in the special teams unit in many different phases, with him suffering that ACL, which is very unfortunate, the Packers may not keep 4 tight ends because I think there's no doubt that it's going to be Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, and Josiah DeGuara. But there may not be a fourth tight end on this roster. It could potentially be Austin Allen, but LaFleur doesn't sound like the Packers need to have a fourth tight end. They could use a different offensive lineman. Also, receiver is deep, which if he says that, maybe they'll keep 7. I think they'll for sure keep 6 just because I believe Malik Heath will be on this roster. Maybe they keep 7. We'll have to wait and see on Tuesday what the final roster, how it all finishes off. But that is pretty much what Matt LaFleur had to say. If you guys haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Put up Packers content almost every day. I'm going to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.